March 20th, 2003, exactly 20 years ago today, the U.S. launched a ground invasion into Iraq. The promise was to end the dictatorial rule of President Saddam Hussein and destroy alleged weapons of mass destruction in the country. Within weeks, Saddam's regime fell.
Major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
But the U.S. didn't find any weapons of mass destruction. It fueled a lot of resentment from the Iraqi people. A long and violent uprising against U.S. forces followed. The war didn't end until 2011. In the 8 years of boots on the ground, 4,700 U.S. and allied troops and more than 100,000 Iraqi civilians were killed. WBTV sent veteran reporter Steve Onosors to Iraq 3 times to cover the war. Twice in 2004 and once in 2005. He was alongside North Carolina National Guard troops. Got a first-hand look as they went through. He took his camera inside one of Saddam Hussein's palaces after he was captured. There was even a moment of levity. See it right here, a photo of Steve inside Saddam's tub. 20 years later, Steve says he still has a vivid memory of his time in Iraq. We asked him how this experience impacted him and the soldiers he traveled with.
Well, for the North Carolina National Guard soldiers, who I spent most of the time with when I was over there, it changed them a lot because they basically left jobs, left their families. These aren't people who are living at Bragg or living at some base at another state. These are the people that live down the street from you. That was, your plumber, your electrician, your teacher, your assistant principal. And so they put their lives on hold, and it did change them in how they felt about this country. They felt better about this country, seeing what it's like over there and living through that.
How did they view the mission? Do they see it all as a success now, 20 years on?
I think they feel like what they did was a success, whether the overall political aspect and everything else was a success. They say that's for somebody on a higher pay grade to judge. But they feel like what they did it well. And they did. The things that I saw when I was over there, the bravery, just the way they were in dealing with situations that would happen. There's no time to think, it's time to act, and their training would kick in, and they performed admirably.
What images stick out with you 20 years later from being there?
Well, on one of the trips, I went with the soldiers into this area called the Brickyard, where these families lived and worked, and Saddam had put them there because he didn't want to deal with them. And they had to build their own houses. They had to do everything they can to survive. And they weren't making much in the way of money. I saw little kids with their hands were just stained with the brick, with the yellow and the orange from the bricks that they were working too with their families.
These are kids who, through no fault of their own, right, are in this situation. So then you come home and have to sort of wrap your head around that as you come back home and fall back into normal routine. Same thing for these soldiers. Was that a difficult transition back?
Well, I didn't spend, the year that they spent over there, so that was different. But I do know coming back from Afghanistan, the base there where I was had been attacked several nights, and we were on guard. Anytime you'd hear, the gunshots, get down low, and I would get down low with my camera and try to get what I could. But I know I went to my daughter's outdoor drama, and they had some gunplay in that, and I wound up under the seats.
Yeah.
And I hadn't realized it, but I hadn't slept in about 30 hours coming back. But for the soldiers, I just had a small piece of the transition because you were on such high alert for so long, 24/7. You get used to it. And then when you come back to the United States where you don't have that, the soldiers were telling me that they would drive in the middle of the road just out of habit so they could avoid IEDs. Coming down from that high alert status is tough on the soldiers.
So as we look back here 20 years now, are there lessons to be drawn from the nation's experience, do you think, in Iraq?
The problem is it's always 2020. And, no conflict is the same. No day is the same. The training, I think, has improved because of those. As far as the political aspect in those areas, I think they're going to be more cautious in what they do. And because, it's not just the money that it costs, but the lives that were lost and the families, not just the lives of the soldiers and the families affected here, but there as well. And it's going to take time to get over it. But I think there will come a time when hopefully there will be peace.
Appreciate Steve's insights into that, and certainly we are.